Hello, fellow cycling fans. I'm George, and welcome to my all-important Stage 20 of La Vuelta España 2025 preview. This is where everything will be decided, a high mountain stage. Before we analyze the tactics from Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe Visma Lisa Bike and UAE Team Emirates, let's do a quick recap of Stage 19. It was a sprinter stage. Jasper Philipsen in the end outsprints Pedersen, Aular, Biermans and Ben Turner. It was a big bunch sprint, Alpecin once again dominating with their train, putting Philipsen in a perfect position, and he wins yet another stage. But the biggest talking point, of course, is the GC battle between Vingegaard and Almeida. Vingegaard was second at the intermediate sprint. He got 4 bonus seconds. That means that he carries 44 seconds advantage into the stage 20. 2 minutes and 43 seconds in front of Pitcock, then Jai Hindley with 3:22, Pellizzari with 4:23, and then Riccitello with 5:21 and Felix Gall with 5:24. Those guys will probably finish in the top 7. They are the biggest talking points. What can we expect from Red Bull Bora, guys? Well, they are fourth and fifth. Of course, Pellizzari has the white jersey. So, will he risk it all and try to go long, or will he just go for the white jersey? Hindley, on the other hand, at fourth, a previous Grand Tour winner, I think he has to risk it. Going for third, maybe even getting second or even first in the process. But we'll talk about it when we look at the profile. In the points classification, obviously Mats Pedersen already got that one in the bag, 100 points in front of Vingegaard. In the KOM, Vine carries 20 points over Vingegaard, so I think he needs to go in a breakaway tomorrow. And as I already talked about the white jersey, Riccitello just 58 seconds behind Pellizzari, and in the teams, UAE Emirates with half an hour of an advantage. So, stage 20, 166 kilometers long with 5 categorized climbs, including the mountaintop finish to Pola del Mundo at 2,253 meters of altitude. It is, I think, the highest point in this race. But we are climbing straight from the start. First, it's the third category climb, 9 kilometers at 4.1%. Here we will surely look at the great battle for the breakaway. I think this stage will be broadcasted from the start, so I'll be glued to the TV watching the break formation, then straight onto the next climb, another third category climb, 5.8 kilometers at 5.7%. If the breakaway is not established by here, then it's going to be really hectic. Riding through the valley and going on to the second category climb of 7.1 kilometers at 7.3%, then a long plateau before first time going over the Puerto de Navacerrada. That is actually Bola del Mundo climb. From one side we also have bonus seconds at the top, then it's downhill and back to Bola del Mundo for 12.4 kilometers at 8.6%. This is the first climb, Puerto de Navacerrada. I think that here is where a Visma Lisa bike will be on the defensive from Red Bull Bora, Hansgrohe and UAE Team Emirates. Here is where they need to drop all of Vingegaard's helpers and then maybe even go long with a Pellizzari or Hindley. Almeida, on the other hand, will be in a difficult role. He has to decide if he goes with one of them or if he lets Jonas Vingegaard do the job on his own. But of course, that is if they dropped Visma helpers. But what I wanted to show you is how the stage looks on the map. So we are starting here in Robledo de Chevala, going here a big loop all the way to nearly going to Bola del Mundo and then going downhill and back to Bola del Mundo with the final 3 kilometers to the mountain top finish where that big globe is. It is really steep, some 3.3 kilometers at 12.1%. So can Joao Almeida really gain around 40 seconds to Vingegaard here? I think not. I think he has to attack earlier, and this is the whole climb, 12.4 kilometers at 8.5%. But you can see that before those final 3 kilometers, it is not really that steep, around 7% with 1 kilometer over 9%. But with Almeida's lack of explosiveness, I really don't see him dropping a Vingegaard here. Maybe in the last 3 kilometers, but if he couldn't do it on Angliru, then I am not sure that he can do it here as well. So what is the main tactics? Of course, Jay Wine going to the breakaway on the first and second climb. He needs those points. He needs to be a satellite rider for Almeida. Juan Ayuso and Soler and Grossschartner, I think they need to save them for this Puerto de Nevacerrada. The first time they come to this climb, but summit is still almost 50 kilometers from the finish. It's long for Almeida to go alone, but if they can drop all the helpers, then that is their only chance. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, on the other hand, they should try to send someone like Nico Dance in a breakaway. I think he can survive those first couple of climbs, and then maybe in this valley on the downhill he can be of help for either Pellizzari or Hindley. I really think they need to try and attack from afar, isolate a Vingegaard, and then hope for the best on the final climb. Even those 3 minutes and 22 seconds are not out of reach. Yes, it's mighty hard to bring that gap down, but we saw even bigger attacks this year in the Giro, and Simon Yates getting something like 5 minutes, but it was of course a really special stage. But still, Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, they need to try it. Aleotti, Sobrero, Zwihoff, they need to push hard on this on this first climb alongside UAE. They need to be kind of in the same team to try and isolate Vingegaard, and then try on maybe even in the valley, and then on the final climb. We saw that Vingegaard doesn't look that great and that he's vulnerable. If he can get isolated, then I think that is the only chance to beat him. And finally, moving on to bookmakers odds, we have Vingegaard as the number one favorite, but like I said, Visma Lease bike, they will be on the defensive. They should try to send Jorgensen in the breakaway, have Kus and Talet with Vingegaard as long as possible. It's going to be a fierce tempo by both UAE and Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. Nothing to lose for them, and then on the final climb, it's every man for himself. Joao made a second favorite, then Hindley, Pitcock, Pellizzari. So you see all those GC guys. I also didn't talk about the breakaway guys. I think maybe Ciccone, Bernal, Vine, of course, should try to get in a breakaway, but I think this is a GC day. They need to push hard. Those two teams that I already mentioned, UAE and Red Bull. And who is my pick to win it? Well, I think it goes to Giulio Pellizzari once again. Hindley will be a marked man, and then Giulio will get his chance once again. Red Bull with two cars to play, and I think Pellizzari wins once again. He gets the white jersey, but he doesn't get the red jersey. I think Jonas Vingegaard will have a help from either Kuss or maybe Jorgensen, and they will save the red jersey tomorrow. 44 seconds, Almeida. I think he has to go. He has to do all in. He's the leader of UAT memories. He doesn't get that chance often. Del Toro is coming. He's getting better every day. Pogacar is in the team. Not a lot of chances for Almeida. Second is great, but he has to go and try for first. I don't think that he will do it, but I would like to see him try. So that is all for this preview. It's been a bit longer, but of course this is the most important stage in the whole Vuelta. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a preview in my channel. Have a great day. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.